Hey y'all, my name is Miriam and it's time to paint. So grab your paintbrushes and let's get started. Now today we are painting this portrait. We're gonna be loose with it. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna keep it simple. I'm excited about this pose. I like this pose. This is from the session in my last video over on Patreon where I showed you all my camera settings and some of the other images from this session. I just thought this would be a fun one to do. Now, one of the things that always troubled me to no end when I was trying to figure out how to paint was everyone would say the key to painting is simplifying things, but they never actually told you how to simplify things, or at least none of the resources that I found in my own search. So I thought we could go over that today. I'll show you how I simplify things. As always, I am not showing you guys the way to do it. I'm showing you a way to do it. All right. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes, put you into my brain, and get started. All right. So we are going to start this one out with regular oil paints, not oil sticks. We're just going with regular oil paints. I am painting, this is an extra fine linen panel. It's an Artifacts panel and it is oil primed. So it's already ready for me to go. I've told you guys before, I always prefer buying it pre-primed, especially when I'm working with extra fine linen. Sorry, it's one of those days. It's been a long day. But yes, I always like buying it pre-primed. It saves me time. I don't mind spending a little extra in the front end if it'll save me a few days of work. I'm gonna stop rambling now. Okay, we have two colors here. We have transparent earth orange or transparent earth red, and we have Van Dyke brown. Now, I picked these two colors because one is extremely warm and one is much more on the cooler side. Okay, so I have two darks that I'm going to be using to kind of block this in, and I am going to be using a little bit of thinner. I'm using Sennelier Green for Oil non-toxic thinner. Why do I use it? Well, it's because I paint in a home studio. I have children, I have kids, and I have almost zero ventilation when I paint. So I have to make sure that all of the chemicals that I'm using are non-toxic. And I really love this brand. It works great. It's reasonably priced, and it's completely safe in your home studio. Be careful when you're selecting your mediums and thinners. I have come across a lot of people who say, oh yeah, I use odorless stuff too, and so it's safe. And just because it's odorless does not mean that it's safe, and in fact it can make you even less cautious, which makes it more dangerous in the long run. So I just say that so that you guys are prepared. I want to make sure you guys are taking care of your health. Okay, let's get started. I'm using an Aspen size 10 bright brush. Okay, I really like this for starting out my paintings. Super soft to the touch, but very stiff and holds its shape. It's great for pushing paint around. The other thing I need to do before I get started is make sure that my reference photo is cropped to the same dimensions as my canvas. This is very important for me and my process because I'm eyeballing this, right? We're not sketching anything down first. We're going straight to canvas with the paint, and we want to make sure that we give ourselves every advantage going into the painting that we can, and making sure that your reference photo is the same dimensions is going to help you do that. Okay, it just means that there's not going to be any sort of mistakes or distortion when we're trying to eyeball and place stuff. I think that's it. Let's get started. Also, let me know how you guys like this new setup. I'm trying to find a good setup where you guys can see, the palette, the brush, me, the canvas, everything all at once. And I know it's kind of awkward. I have to put my back to you guys while I'm painting. Don't judge my posture. Okay, so, I have my thinner in here. It's it's not clean thinner. I don't refresh my thinner every day. So you guys can you see in there? You can kind of see the reflection. It's green. My thinner is green right now. Doesn't bother me a bit. Okay. So I'm gonna dip just a little bit in there, and I'm gonna go in with a mix. Let's just get a nice soupy mix of both of these, okay? I love this nice kind of custom brown color that it makes. This is like the perfect base to me because we're painting a model with beautiful, rich, dark skin. And the thing to know about dark skin when you're painting it is dark skin is full of color. I think a lot of people assume that because it's darker, that it gets less saturated. And in fact, it's the exact opposite. It's very highly saturated. So this gives me a nice saturated mix that I can then move cooler or warmer, all right? And I know that they're gonna be cohesive and unified because my base is already a mix of the two, okay? Okay, so I know you guys can't see it, but my reference photo, I have it, let me just show you. I have it on this rolling cart, okay? It's on a rolling cart, and I just make sure to put it at the same exact viewing angle as my canvas, just over here. And that way, it's going to, I'm not gonna introduce any distortion. What you don't want is your canvas upright and your reference this way, because then things are gonna get all distorted. Okay, so step one, I am going to mark in my silhouette. And the easiest way for me to do that is by looking at the white space, or in this case, the green space, okay? If I have to think in my head, how do I draw the human form? That's a lot harder for me than if I said, how do I draw this shape here, okay? So that's what's going through my head right now. So let's do that. So if I had to estimate that shape, let me get myself situated. Normally I like to stand during this part, it just helps, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna stay seated. Okay. I'm holding my brush back pretty far, right? You don't want to get gripped up on here. You want to hold it back pretty far for this stage. We're being very loose right now. There's no need to hone in on detail. Okay, so that's my best approximation of the silhouette. Is it correct? No, not at all. Does it matter? Also no. We're in the beginning stages. All of this is going to change. And I'm also going to give you tips on how you can check this so that you don't compile your mistakes later on. So let's start doing some of the internal shapes. Now at this point, I might mark in the eye or the eye socket, some of the major features and where the chin is, okay? And one of the easiest ways to do this, and you'll see me do this a lot, I close one eye and you don't have to make the face when you do it, but that's just how I squint when I look at things, okay? So squint and look, and we're just reducing it down to your basic shapes, the darks, basic darks, the basic lights. So everyone, do it with me, group exercise. Squint your eyes, and I'm looking at mine right now. So squint your eyes, look at the reference photo, and everywhere where it's dark, we're gonna go in, okay? And I might even make this a little darker, okay? Just using that same sort of mix. And actually, now that I'm doing this, I think I might be too far over a little bit. Let's get some of these internal shapes. Oh, I should also say, I'm not going for an exact replica on this. We're using this as a reference. If it ends up looking like it, great. If it ends up looking not like it, that's also great. So I just wanted to say that going into this. So squinting. Just kind of eyeballing. Okay, so that's my first pass at it. That's my like squint my eyes, try and copy what I see as best as possible attempt, okay? Um, Now you have two options. One, you can stop and check all these measurements. You can use a ruler, a proportional divider, which a proportional divider is one of my favorite art tools. I used to rely on it all the time. So if you don't have one, I suggest getting one. So ruler, proportional divider, or you can use digital tools, okay? And I've showed you guys that before. I don't feel that I need to do that right now, but what I am going to do is a second pass, okay? And every mark that I make at this stage is based solely on itself, meaning that I'm looking at each of these things, let's say the neck, each line, each landmark. Whoa, what was that? Okay, sorry. Each line, each landmark, I'm looking at it individually, not in relation to itself. Because what happens if I start comparing things, let's say I put the eye in, and then I say, oh, okay, right below the eye is the nose. And so I'm going to put the nose, right here. And then based on the nose location, I'm going to add in the cheek. And then based on the cheek location, I'm going to add in XYZ. What happens is you start to compile your mistakes. Because let's say that original eye that I placed in there was wrong. Well, now I've made every decision based off of that eye. So at this stage, I'm making sure to look at each thing independently. And so now I'm going to go over this a second time and do the same kind of thing. Just look at everything independently and adjust where I need it. I'm also, on the second pass, at the second pass, I should be feeling a little more confident in the locations. Because right now, I'm not confident in any of this. Second pass, I get a little more confident. I might use darker paint. And then as I get more and more confident, I start getting heavier with the paint. But for now, we're gonna go a little darker, all right? And it's that nice, can you guys see that? That's such a, just on its own, this is such a beautiful combination. Okay. Also, I'm not fully ghosting right now, and I don't even know if ghosting is the right word, but I don't know if you guys see it. Before a lot of my paint strokes, I'm actually kind of testing it out and really trying to slow down and think about it, okay? A lot of times that's lost in my time-lapse videos, so I just wanted to point that out. All right, so that's where we're at so far. I'm just now realizing that it's taking the focus off of this every time. Um, Sorry, I hope that's not too distracting. Um, I'm gonna figure out how to fix that. But is this accurate? Is this correct? No idea. No idea yet. But I have good guesses. They're informed guesses, and that's all I'm looking for at this stage. I'm also going to, let me think. I think I'm going to do a third pass, and this time go in even darker where I'm a little more confident in where it's dark. All right? And this time, because I'm looking at the hair, we have much darker or much cooler dark tones there. So I'm just, they're still, like this is still warm overall, even though I'm putting this like cooler in. Okay. So let's do a third and final pass at all of this. I'm looking, the more I look at this, I think this is a little wide. I feel good about my silhouette, but I think this fabric portion is a little wide. So we're gonna pull that back a little bit and go from there. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Um, I think this is a good approximation. It's not perfect. I know it's not perfect, but I think it's a good place to start. It's we can start to work in our midtones and some of the lighter tones and see how this shapes up. So I'm gonna go add some. I'm actually gonna get a. No, we'll just add onto here. I'm gonna add a few colors on here, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I've added a few colors to the palette. We have Cad Orange, Vermilion um, Extra, Cremance White, Cool White. We added Neutral Tint and Hooker's Green, okay? I might add some blue later. And I do want to say that this is not a set color palette. I could have used a whole variety of different reds here. I picked this one because it was convenient. I had it right there and I really like this red, but any red would have done. I have a few different whites, but again, titanium would have worked just as fine. Same with the greens, and I'm using this neutral tint as my cool kind of a replacement for blue right at the moment. You can create skin tones with a million different combinations of colors. There is no formula, single formula for creating skin tones, all right? So just want to put that out there. So let's mix up like a lighter color, okay? I'm gonna go with some of this Cad Orange. And let's just get a little of this Cremance White in there, okay? If we're starting from a dark color, as we get lighter, as the skin gets lighter, so like as I transition from the shadow side, sorry, I'm backwards, so it takes a little bit of coordination to do this. Okay, so as I go from the shadow side of my face up into here, this light side, not only are my values getting lighter, they're also getting more chromatic, okay? So if I just had this brown color and I added only white to it, we would be left with a grayed out, muddy looking skin tone. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that when we're increasing in value in our skin tones, we're also increasing in chroma. Okay? All right, so I'm looking back at my reference and okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit lighter with that. And let's go a little bit of red. Okay, let's see if that, yeah, that's more what I'm looking for. And I'm just kind of blocking this in everywhere I see it. These artifacts panels are new for me. I normally just paint on like linen canvas. And it's kind of interesting. They're much more absorbent than I'm used to. And I don't know if you guys can see, some of these browns are already sunken in. Let's see if I can get you close. Can you guys see that? Like some of those browns are already sinking into the color. It's gonna cause me a headache, but that's all right. Okay. I know it looks crazy. It looks crazy so far. Um, but that's okay. It's not a bad thing. Now that I have some, oh, let's do on the neck real quick too. Just block in where we think. Okay, so now that we have those kind of that mid-tone range, our local kind of color, I'm gonna go back in because I realize now my darks need to be a whole lot darker, okay? You can hardly see this. So let's go in. Oh, I used too much thinner there. That's okay. Let's go back in and create nice, dark, rich, saturated darks again. And I'm just gonna go over. Zooming out on my reference. Okay. Again, super not accurate, okay? I think a lot of people hit this stage and get discouraged instead of pushing on, okay? Um, all right, so here we are. Again, I'm not super accurate at this stage. I'm going to start to switch my brain set into thinking about form. Like this was all silhouette, local colors, blocky, right? This is flat. This is not real. Now is when I'm going to switch the brain into thinking about form, thinking in a three-dimensional space, and thinking this is real. This is a person. This is not a flat subject, okay? And this is where a lot of the fun comes for me. So let's go even lighter. And I actually am going to pull out titanium white for this. Oh my gosh. So one of the things about me is I have arthritis. Oh, and some of these bottles are very tough to open. Okay. Okay, so can you guys see that? That is like incredibly chromatic. Incredibly, it's like a super bright orange right now, okay? That's what I'm gonna use. Whoa, too much paint on there. But that's what I'm gonna use to start to block this in. And right now, let's actually get even more orange. just trying to feel the form of this. I'm thinking in my head, if this were a real object, this real spherical egg-like object, and let's say it was sitting here, okay? And I took my hand and I moved my hand all the way until it touched this face or this egg-like object, okay? If it's easier for you to think of this in this stage as just an egg, think of it as an egg. If it's easier for you to think of it as a human head, think of it as a human head. But I'm saying to myself, if I take my hand and go boop, 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 and I were to hit the actual model's face, what would my hand be touching? What things are coming the closest to me? Well, it'd probably be this cheekbone, the nose, the forehead right here, the nose, or this, what, I don't even know why can't I think of what this area is called? But right here and the chin, okay? And so that's where I'm gonna go through and hit my first areas of light. It's gonna give me my first sense of form, all right? All right, in my head now, as I'm looking at this, this is already starting to feel real to me. And when I say real, I mean like this head, okay? Can you guys see? You can almost see the similarity. Let's see if I can, okay? Like I'm thinking of this as no different than this actual 3D object that's taking up space in all three dimensions, width, height, and depth, okay? That's how I am thinking of this. I'll keep it there, just for fun. Okay, I'm gonna blend out some of this. As I'm blending, I might make adjustments. Okay. I think I'm ready for a smaller brush at this point because, okay, and actually I should have started out by saying I normally pick a paintbrush for these beginning stages that's the same width as the eye, okay? So that's just about there. But now that I'm starting to get more certain about where the placements of these objects are, and I'm starting to build out the form, okay, the three-dimensionality of it, I'm ready to go to a smaller brush. I'm still going to look for a bright, all right? I want a nice flat top. I want something that's going to be soft but stiff enough to move the paint around. So let me put this away and I'll be right back. I'm going to go look for a brush. All right, found one. We're gonna use this. It's a Princeton Velvet Touch Bright, size 10, okay? Can you guys, let's see if I can get you to focus on that. It's not gonna focus, but you get the point. It's a bright, let's see if I put it there. You guys can see it a little better. Okay, now, once I hit this, we're just repeating, okay? Thinking about in form, I'm going, darks, lights, all right? And we're close to adding in reds. But I'm just repeating the process, all right? So I'm gonna go into darks, and again, I'm just trying to focus on form. Mixing up like a color similar to the veil in this area. I mean, that's actually a little light, but I think I've gone too far over on this chin area. Maybe even this whole area right here. Already I think that looks a little better. Oh, I just got paint on my pants. It's all right. I think that made a big difference. Big difference in the silhouette. Okay. We're still not perfect yet, but we're closer. That's all I'm ever looking for. With every stage, I'm just asking myself, am I getting closer? That's that's it. That's my only metric of success. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Getting there. All right, it's looking a little crazy still, but that's okay. I think we're starting to get closer. We're starting to build form. I'm gonna go into even lighter lights now, and that's really gonna help it pop out. And I'm also gonna start to do some rounding. I did just a little tiny bit here, but we're gonna really get into it. I also, my arm is getting tired, so I need to raise myself. Let's see if hopefully I'm not too tall. Okay. Oh, also, if you're having trouble seeing the lights versus the darks, knowing where the transition in value happens, let me show you. I know I've showed you guys this before, but I often like to look at my reference photo in this black and white and posterized view. So let's do that. We're going to switch over to this black and white view. And it's going to help me simplify, reduce, and get my starting values in the right place. All right. All right, we're going to start rounding some of these shapes. All right, sorry guys, my iPad died, but we're back. All right. Look at already the difference it's made in just a few minutes. And it's just some well-placed transitions at the terminator that's going to give us that rounding. If you can put, you know, a bunch of effort into the terminator, you can get away with almost anything else in all your other areas. All right. As I'm going through this, one of the things that's in my head right now is the gravity trick, okay, for eyeballing. Now, I'll link to it below. I've done a video on this before, but I like to think of either a balloon or a marble. And I think about if I place that balloon or marble on any one of these shapes, how is it going to travel? How is gravity going to affect it? I'm looking for the speed at which that balloon would go up or the marble would go down, and any sort of directional changes. It helps me to think about that. And I'm comparing it. I say, okay, on my reference, the cheekbone. If I drop a marble right here, it's going to go down at a pretty steady rate. And it's actually even going to dip. Like the marble might slow right here and then continue on its path. Do you guys see that? But let's look at my cheekbone, or the cheekbone that I just painted on here. If I drop a marble right there, it's gonna get stuck. Like right there. Can you guys see that? It's gonna get stuck because it has to go up and then it goes down. There's a pretty drastic change, and we have this area where it goes up, so I want to fix that. Okay, and so all I do is I'm going to go in and push that down, blend it out in that direction, and now I look at that cheekbone and I think, okay, if I drop a marble here, it's going to go in a much more similar pattern to my reference, and I'm actually going to push it out even more. The model has a lot of wonderful volume on her cheekbones. Okay. So that looks better to me for the cheekbone. And all I had to do was think about what path would a marble make if it falls, okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I always feel like a crazy lady every time I talk like that. All right. So now this is just a process of repeating and working. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep it in real time. But I'm going to play some music in the background and just vibe. All right. This is actually one of my favorite stages where we get to start to add in red. All right. And this is where it really comes alive for me. All right, it's time to get an even smaller brush because I'm starting to work in more areas of detail than I can kind of handle with this big brush. And let's get up close so you guys can see this so far. I'm trying to get it without the glare. Ah. There we go. Let's see. Will it focus? Can you guys see it? That's where we're at right now. I quite like it. It's soft. It's not exact. It still feels painterly. It's a good solid foundation. All right, so I switched to a bright size 8. I actually wish I could have gone smaller. I just don't have one available to me right now, so we're gonna use this one. And again, I'm just doing the same thing. Same thing I was doing before, just repeating it, but this time I'm getting smaller and I'm getting a little more confident in all the placements, okay? Oh, I'm also, the further that I get into this, the less thinner that I'm using, or at all. Like, this is almost practically just pure paint at this point. I do need to get even smaller. All right, we're gonna switch to a round. This is a size 2 round, pretty small, but I'm trying to work in this nostril area and it's been a bit challenging with the flat. Hey y'all, it's day 2. Now, my camera did cut out right at the end of the day yesterday. But as soon as I noticed that it cut out, I stopped. So you guys didn't miss much. I think maybe a minute, if that, okay? But let me show you up close where we're at. So you guys can see, let's see if I can get it to focus. And you guys can see the brush strokes. Maybe if I cover my face, it'll focus more on that. Okay, so I really want you to see up close. Let's get the lighting. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get it to, can you guys see that? Okay, you guys can see it's like not exact at all. There's lots of, it's very still kind of painterly feeling. I like that. I want to preserve as much of that as possible. Now the paint here on day 2 on the surface, it's semi-dry. It's not wet enough to be workable, but I did just run my finger over it and it came back a little brown. So I know it's not fully dry. And as you can see, the paint has well, maybe from your angle you can't tell as much, but if you look from this angle, let's see, you can see the paint has kind of, those darks have kind of sunken in. You know, if this were fully dry, we would have oiling out as an option, but we're just gonna go right into it, okay? I'm using yesterday's palette, see if I can get away with using that paint again. And I'm also, so yesterday we started off using thinner in our initial kind of brush strokes. And then as we went on, we used less and less thinner until I was almost using just straight up paint, okay, without any thinner at all. Today I'm gonna start to introduce some medium, and we're using, here we go, Gamblin solvent-free fluid. Again, non-toxic, okay? It's what I like to use. It is, as you can see, it is very yellow. It doesn't bother me at all. You guys know I paint, even if I'm painting the coolest and pastiest of skin tones, I still use this, okay? That yellowing doesn't bother me. So let's get started. I'm gonna use the same brush that I was using last night, and we'll dive right in. Just realized I don't have any transparent earth red on here. I used that all up yesterday, so I'm gonna add a little more. And I am gonna get a little bit of medium in that. Okay, and I'm still looking at my reference. Here we go. Just right off to the side. Now that I feel pretty confident about my outer silhouette, I can zoom in on the face. And so I'm just gonna keep chipping away, pushing and pulling and adjusting as I feel it's needed. Oh my gosh, look at how different that fresh paint looks on there. You know, I think before I start adjusting, I need to just go over all my existing darks, because this is really gonna throw me off. So now you can really tell the difference between the fresh paint and the sunken in colors. So let's do that real quick. well, I forgot just how rich all of those colors were last night. Seeing it right now, so sunken in, is crazy. Look at how these colors just come to life. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I am using this filbert brush. Let's see if I can get it to focus on it. Just a cheap one that I picked up on Amazon. It's Dugato brand. Very, very cheap. Very not high quality. But it works for what I need it for. All right. I don't know if you can see what's happening, but because my paint isn't fully dry from yesterday's layer, my paint is starting to pick up in some of these areas. So as I'm trying to place paint down, more paint is coming up off the canvas. And you can kind of see it right there in that area. Let me get you up closer so you can see. So you see under that chin, that weird kind of area right there? That's because the paint is picking up. So unfortunately, I think it's best that I wait, let this fully dry, like I should have to begin with, and continue from there. But not bad where we're at. Actually, let's clean up maybe some of this area. We could do that right now. All right. All right, that's where we're gonna leave it for today. Just wanted to fix a few areas up here, and actually, the more I look, the more I find. Okay, gotta stop. But so this is where we're gonna leave it, unfortunately, for today. Okay? Won't focus. Let me hide my face. Maybe it will focus. There we go. See you tomorrow. Hey y'all, it's day 3, and hopefully this is the day that it works. I just tested it out to see if my dark paint would stick here, and it looks like it is. So it should be good to go. It's not fully dry in all the areas, but in the areas where I need it to be dry, it's good enough. So we're gonna dive into this. I am going to, it's day 3. I'm gonna get some fresh paint on here. So let me just rip this off, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, just refreshed the palette, got my hair up, ready to go. Now, as you may notice, my colors are a bit more expanded now, because the further that I get on into the portrait, the more nuanced my decisions are going to be when it comes to color. Up until this, I mean, this is all like fairly local color, right? This is just kind of general sort of brown. Beautiful browns starting to show form, but just not very nuanced in the decisions. So let me go over my colors real quick. I have my 2 colors that I used for the base of this, and that's Transparent Earth Red and Van Dyke Brown. Then I also have Cad Orange. Cad Orange is a staple on my palette because Cad Orange, and this is also, I should mention, this is Gamblin brand Cad Orange. It's the only Cad Orange that I found that that really works so beautifully for skin tones. I don't know why. I've tried much more expensive and high-end Cad oranges, and this one is my favorite. Okay. Then we have Schwenningen Yellow, Vermilion Extra, Kraplax Rose, Old Holland Yellow Deep, which is such a strange name for it when this is like such a pale color. But anyways, Cremants White, Hooker's Green, Olive Green Dark, and Neutral Tint. And as we go on, I may even expand into more colors. We'll see. So my brushes, I'm actually going to start with this one here, this cheap Dugato Filbert. It's all crusty from yesterday's paint. So I'm just going to dip it in some thinner, get that old paint off of it, wipe it. Actually, let's get a fresh rag here because this is looking nasty. Give me 1 second. All right, friends, we got a new rag. Okay, so clean my brush off, wipe it down real good, and look at that. Good as new. Laziness has its advantages. Okay, so my goal for today is really to work on form, rounding, and skin tones. And really in these lights, okay? I am not going to concentrate too much into the darks simply because they're still, I'm like looking now, I can see they're a little shiny. They're still not fully dry in those darks. Okay, let's see, will it focus? If I hide my face, it should. That's pretty cool so far. I don't hate it. But that's the plan. There is no follow steps XYZ at this. I am just sort of going. And I could attack it 100 different ways, I guess is my point. There's no one way to move forward. But what I typically like to do, especially when I'm thinking about form, is start at the highlight. Start at where, again, where the form is coming out. Like if I were to put my hand and this were an actual person's face, what would I be touching? What would be this cheekbone here, the forehead here, here, and the chin? That's where I'm going to focus most of my attention right now, because that's what's going to give the biggest impact. All right. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna, now the model has, so I'm looking at my reference right now. She has really, really rich, deep, warm tones everywhere the light hits. As soon as we drop into the shadow side, there's a lot more of those cool tones. And we're also getting a lot of reflected light off of both this shirt, the green plants. She's actually holding a bunch of green plants, so that's also reflecting onto that. We're getting some reflection from the scarf that she's wearing here. So there's a lot of different things to consider. I could paint it, you know, exactly to the reference, or I can keep a lot of this warmth, which I really enjoy a lot of the warmth in here. So we'll see how I feel as we get into it. Okay. I am going to refresh my solvent-free fluid. Just need to pour some new stuff in there. All right. I'm going to mix up that same base from yesterday. And mix a little fluid in that. And the reason why, at least for now, that I don't have titanium. Oh my gosh, my cat orange is trying to run away. That is the only downside. So I know I said I like this one because the color works best for me. But there is, when I talk about like the quality of the paint, you can tell, like, you know, just by how runny your paints are. But it's okay. Okay, let me wipe that off. Let me go back to what I was saying. The reason why I don't have titanium white on here at the moment is because I want to build up my skin tones right now with texture in mind. And what I really like for that is Cremance white. It's lead white. It's a semi-transparent white, so it's not going to affect the color too much. Like, let's look at all that. You know, I just put a ton of white in that, and it didn't affect the color a great deal like titanium white would have, but it now has this really wonderful quality to it. All right. Because, and I should explain what I mean by a wonderful quality to it, because Cremance white, it's a lead white, it's semi-transparent, it almost mimics the feel and look of real skin. It's really hard to describe, but it's so wonderful to paint with. Okay, and I'm looking at it in this view, my reference photo. I'm gonna switch over and look at it in the posterized view. And one of the reasons why I like having my iPad with me is because I can do a side by side and look at both views together. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I want to cool this down. I'm gonna use neutral tint to cool that down ever so slightly. And we're gonna add just a tad more Cremance. All right. Much closer. Oh, and it's picking up. Do you guys see that? Oh, I thought I I'd waited long enough. Look at that. So this is what I mean. Do you guys see that right there? Right here, the paint is lifting off of it instead of painting on top. It would look so nice if it would just behave. Let's see what I can get away with right now. Okay, and so what I'm doing right now is I'm actually just following like everywhere where this value is. So here, forehead, side of nose, side of neck. That's where I'm placing this color right now. Oh, it's lifting up here too. It's so annoying. We've got some of that dark over here. All right, I'm gonna go work into even the lighter areas, and hopefully it's not focusing just on me. Let's see if I can move. It's connected to my computer, so that's as close as I can get. Let's bring this to you guys. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Is that better? Hopefully you guys can see better. Oh, but can I get close enough? All right. I'm going to cut myself out of this just so I can bring this closer and you guys can see better. And hopefully it'll just focus on you guys. Or hopefully it'll just focus on this. Okay, so I'm working into these lighter areas now. And I want a little more. Yeah, this is going to give me a problem. Okay, if that ever happens to you, one of the ways you can recover is by just going in with more thick opaque paint, which is what I'm trying to do now. Oh, did you guys hear that? One of my kids' teeth just fell out. All right, guys, I'm back. Parenting calls at all times, and it does not care if you're working or recording a video. So, I have twin 8-year-olds, and I have a 10-year-old, and it is never a dull moment in my house. Okay, so where was I? Let's pick back up. Okay, as you can see, I'm mixing for the cheekbone here. This is like a very saturated, pigmented color. And I'm selecting more of my opaque paints right now so that I don't have to worry about things lifting as much. All right, I'm gonna stop right there because the, everywhere where I want to work into, the paint keeps lifting and I can't really do any rounding right now unless I can blend in between my shadows and my lighter colors. So I'm gonna stop for the second day. Don't get to finish it fully, but that's okay. I'm gonna stop right there, and hopefully tomorrow we can finish this. Hey y'all, it's day 4. We're working on this. And everything seems to be dry and ready for us to go. So hopefully we don't run into the problems that we had on day 2 and day 3, and we can just dive right in. There's nothing special or different about my process that I am going to be doing. I'm going to be just repeating what I did before, going in with my darks, going in with my lights, working on rounding out the forms. All right. So I'm just going to put on some music again, chill, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. All right. All right, so that was me placing in my darks. Now I'm gonna go into my lights. All right, so I got my lights down. So I did the darks and the lights. Haven't touched highlights yet. Um, and now I'm gonna start blending. Now, when I'm blending, I'm wiping off my brush every time and going in with a dry brush to blend. Is it not focusing? Let's see if I can. Ugh. Sorry guys, I'm trying my best to get this to focus. Okay. I should also, oops, sorry. I should also point out at this stage that nothing is very detailed. Let's get you up close to that. Like, let's see, can I get you full focus really close? There's actually very little detail. I don't even fully have nostrils in. This eye isn't even, oh, fun, I just did that. But I just wanted to point that out. All I'm doing is every pass, I just get a little more sure about where the placements of things are, and I just adjust as needed. Hey y'all, it's Miriam, and today is day 4. And I actually think this is a good stopping point for right now. Before I work on it anymore, I'm gonna let it fully dry. I really don't have too much to do left in the face. I need to work on the transitions in the neck. You can see right here, the harsh transition here, some of these transitions in the dark, and actually work in this right eye over there. In order for me to do that, I do want to make sure it's all fully dry. That way I can oil out before starting and I can just get a kind of a fresh look at everything. It might be hard to tell in the video, but some of these colors are actually starting to sink in, the new layer that I did yesterday, and it just makes it a little hard to work with. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here for a few days and then we'll pick back up with the part 2 where we finish out the portrait. But thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, kudos to you, and just a huge thank you to everyone over on Patreon for making these videos possible. So thank you guys. Bye.